This video is going to talk about how to create ignore rules. Please look in the comments for a link to another video describing the details of these settings. So here, if we're in Salesforce, we're going to click the Web tab. That will log us into the email cloud for this end user. You can see some emails this person, Susan, has imported into the cloud. One here is from Microsoft. So let's say we want to create an ignore rule. It is a no match. It's not matching into Salesforce, but to clean up this view, sometimes you'd like to add an ignore rule for what is really undesirable email. So you can select the message, click the ignore command button. You'll note the from address is in the addresses column. Choose the ignore type. In this case, we're going to skip any email containing this address and click apply. Now immediately this message is not applied. If we look in the matches column, that message still has a no match status. And even if our system runs an import process or we force an import, our system is designed to not necessarily, we're trying to look forward to matching when we run imports. So to have that message get applied to the ignore rule, you would want to actually reprocess that message manually. And now you can see it has an ignore status, as future messages will. So let's go see where that ignore rule is stored. If we click into the settings and then control panel, and then here in the menu, click on ignores on the left. For this user, they can see the ignore rules they are creating. And you can see the second message or the second listing there is for the ignore rule we just created for the Microsoft address. The ignore type is listed, the direction, and the user that it's applied to. In this case, all Susan. So let's look at another example. Let's say Susan's getting some email from a relative about a personal trip coming up. In fact, if we click into the message, we can see the from address is a relative. It's to our user, Susan, and it's copied to another relative. So in this case, we have a from and a CC address that are personal, and this user may want to go ahead and add those as ignores just so they never show up in this view and certainly never match to Salesforce. So by selecting a message, you can choose the ignore type, again, skip email containing address, and you can see only the from address. So you can click add other and it will bring in all other email addresses in the header. The thing you want to be careful of here is if you find your own email address here, you do want to deselect it. You do not want to apply a skip email containing address ignore to an internal address. So with that done, again, what we can do to go check that, if you want to see it in the ignore list, is you can go into the control panel. We'll go back to the ignore list. And you can see, and these are alphabetically listed, but the from address and the CC are now listed as ignores with the skip email containing address. Another way to create ignore rules is sort of manually from scratch, if you will. In this ignore screen, you can click the new button, which will bring up an ignore list entry form. You can actually manually type in an email address that you know you want to have us ignore for matching. You can choose your ignore type and choose the direction, whether that person is the sender, recipient, or in any direction. Once you've applied that or saved it, it will list it in this view. Another way to create an ignore is by domain only. So you can click the new button, open this form up, and instead of a full email address, you would just click the domain, which is everything in the email address after the @ symbol. Choose skip address or skip email containing address, depending on what's desired, and save that. And again, you can see that listed. These are all, again, applied to Susan. So as an end user, you can only create personal rules. Administrators can create rules and apply them to the entire team. Thanks for watching.